determine the equation of the linear approximation to the surface z equals x times the square root of x squared plus y squared plus z plus y cubed, at the point -4, 3. Now remember, the linear approximation, when they talk about linear approximation, is the tangent plane. Now, that formula comes up again. You have a change in z is equal to the rate at which z changes as x changes times a change in x plus the rate at which z changes as y changes times a change in y. Notice this means a change and this means partial derivative, right? It's similar to saying that the distance you travel is equal to the total distance traveled is equal to the rate at which you change distance with time. So the rate of distance with time is the same as distance in kilometers over hour, and then you multiply that by the change in hour. So the rate at which you cover distance with time multiplied by the amount of time gives you this distance for the first part of the journey plus the rate at which you cover distance with time for the second part of the journey, call this d1. Alright, let's make it remain. Times the how many hours for the second part of the journey would be your kilometer, your distance in kilometer per time in hour, multiplied by the number of hours, right? Gives you the total distance. You can also consider it in getting paid for work you do. The change in the amount of money you have, right? How much more money you have is equal to the rate at which you work per day, or the rate at which you work per hour, time how long the change in hours. That's the first contract. Call this hour 1 plus the rate at which you work per hour for hour 2, the second contract, time how long it takes, right? So if you are paid $1,000 per hour, $1,000 over hour, times 3 hours, that would be $3,000 plus. And next time you get another contract for $2,000 per hour, times say 2 hours, that's $4,000, and so on, right? Very useful formula. So that comes in the tangent plane equation, right? Now, the change in z is z minus z at a particular point, z0, equal the rate at which z changes as x changes, rate at which z changes with x, and the change in x would be x minus x at a certain point, plus the rate at which z changes as y changes time. The change in y is y minus y naught, a particular value of y, right? Now, you're going to need to find out what delta x by delta z is. And also, delta z by delta x. And also delta z by delta y. So what is delta z by delta x is equal to, alright, in differentiating this, you use product rule, hold x as it is, times differentiate this with respect to x. So alright, let's use partial by partial x of, let's rewrite this as x squared plus y squared to the power of a half plus y cubed, right? We're going to differentiate all of this with respect to x. Plus, after that, you hold the square root of x squared plus y squared as it is, times partial by partial with x of, it's just x there, x, okay? So it's going to be x times, when you differentiate with respect to x, this part goes to 0, so when you differentiate y cubed with respect to x is 0, because we're considering y as just a constant. But what happens here? This is chain rule. You differentiate the outside function, something to the half, which would be half, and that's something which is x squared plus y squared, to the half minus 1 is negative half, times differentiate the inside function with respect to x, it will be 2x. Alright? Plus, have the square root of x squared plus y squared here. When you differentiate x with respect to x, you get 1. It's times 1. Okay? See that? Alright. Now, let's see what else is here now. You could simplify this and just write a partial z by partial x equals half by 2 is 1. The half times 2 gives you 1, so that's gone. X times x, that's going to be x squared times x squared plus y squared to the negative half, right, plus the square root of x squared plus y squared. Okay, so that's what you have there. Now, delta z by delta y, what is that now? Delta z by delta y. Delta z by delta y now is equal to, where is it again? Okay. Oh, you don't have to worry about product rule anymore. You differentiate this, so it is x times x squared plus y squared to the half, if you write it as a power. X times x squared plus y squared to the half plus y cubed plus y cubed. Alright, so the derivative of this with respect to y plus derivative of this with respect to y is equal to, again, you have x squared plus y squared to the half, multiply differentiate the outside function, which is this thing to the half, so it's half, times x squared plus y squared to the half minus 1. if you're using the long method in chain rule, instead of doing mentally, you select u be equal to x squared plus y squared, and then you differentiate u to the half. So it's half u to the negative 1, but u is x squared plus y squared, right? What we're doing mentally here. Times, and then the u by dx. This was du by dx, and then, oh yeah, this would be dy by du. So then you differentiate the inside function. Not u by dx is dy. You differentiate the inside function with respect to y now. So it's 2y, alright? Plus, when you differentiate y cube, finally, I didn't write this properly, let me rewrite this. It's d by dy of y cube, or rather, delta by delta y of y cube. Write it properly. So it's 3y to the power of 2 that you get here, right? So when you simplify this, this will be half by 2 is 1. And you have y, x squared plus y squared to the negative half plus 3y squared you would get, right? So you see that? Okay, so that is delta z by delta y. Now, I'm going to put in the values. It says at the point negative 4, 3. So we can just put in the values of the points from now, right? And it will make our work easier instead of having all of these x's and y's. X is negative 4 and y is 3. So at x equal negative 4 and y equal 3, what happened? Delta z by delta x equals delta z by delta x would be equal to x squared, that means negative 4 squared times x squared plus y squared to the negative half. So it will be negative 4 squared plus 3 squared to the negative half plus the square root of x squared plus y squared plus the square root of negative 4 squared plus 3 squared, right? And at the same time, delta z by delta y is equal to y, which is 3, times negative 4 squared. X squared is negative 4 squared plus y squared is 3 squared to the negative half plus 3 times y, which is 3 squared. Okay. Now, what does this thing amount to? 4, 4, 16 times, well, it's going to be 16 plus 9 to the negative a half power plus the square root of 4, 4, 16 plus 3, 3 is 9. This will give 16 plus 9. That's what? 6 and 9, 15, 25. So it's 16 times, well, remember, when you say, alright, this would be 25 to the negative half. But when you say to the negative half, it's the same as saying something over the number 25 to the half. But when you have a number to the half, it's the same as the square root of the number, right? Plus 9 and 16 is 25, square root of 25. Alright, so this is 16 over 5 plus 5. 16 over 5 plus 5 over 1. If you multiply top by 5 and bottom by 5, you get 16 times 25. No, 5 by, yeah, not 16 times 25. 5 times 5 is 25. And this under here is just 5. So this would be 6 and 5, 5 and 6, 11. 1 carry 1, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 4, 41 over 5. Okay. So that's 41 over 5. Now let's work out this part. What is it? It's 3 times 4, 4, 16 plus 9 to the negative half, plus 3, 3 is 9, 9, 3 is 27. So this is equal to 3 over 16 plus 9 to the half, which is the same as the square root of, right? Plus 27. But 16 and 9 is 25, and the square root of 25 is 5, so it's 3/5 plus 27, right? What is 3 over 5 plus 27? Here's my calculator. I'm just going to work it out using my fractions calculator off the screen. So 3 over 5 plus 27 equals 138 over 5. So you have 138 over 5. Alright. So you have those values. Let's put them in this now. Z minus Z naught. So you have Z minus Z naught equals partial Z by partial X at the point. Partial Z by partial X is 41 over 5. So it's 41 over 5 X minus X naught plus partial Z by partial Y time change in Y. So it's 138 over 5 times Y minus Y naught. Okay. Now, we're coming up with the equation of the tangent plane, which is the linear approximation. What we have x naught equal, it will be the same value as the function, as a point, negative 4 and 3. X naught is negative 4, Y naught is 3. We need to find Z naught. Alright, we're going to have to go back to the original point and find Z naught. Z is x square root of x squared plus y squared plus y cubed. Z is x square root of x squared plus y squared plus y cubed. Now, the naughts will be the point at which they occur. So Z naught is equal to x naught square root of x naught squared plus y naught squared plus y naught cubed. So Z naught equals negative 4 times the square root of negative 4 squared plus 3 squared plus 3 cubed. So it's negative 4 times the square root of 4, 4 is 16 plus 3, 3 is 9, 16 and 9, 25 plus 3, 3 is 9, 9, 3 is 27. So it is negative 4 by 5 plus 27 equals negative 20 plus 27. Negative 20 plus 27 is 7. Right? So we get our Z naught as 7. So we can substitute them now. Z minus Z naught, which is Z minus 7, is equal to 41 over 5 x minus x naught, 41 over 5 x minus x naught negative 4 plus what is it again? This was what? 41 over 5, 138 over 5. 138 over 5, y minus, and y naught is 3. Y naught is 3. Alright. We could expand out and see what the equation looks like if everything is flat and so on. Get rid of the fractions and the brackets. So z minus 7 is equal to 41 over 5 x plus 4 plus 138 over 5 y minus 3. Multiply everything by 5. You get 5z minus 5 7 35 is equal to 41 x plus 4 plus 138 y minus 3. And if we open all of the brackets now, 5z minus 35 equal 41x plus, what is, let's just use a calculator here and say we have 41 by 4, 41 by 4 equals 164. So we have 164 plus 138y minus, so it's going to be 138 multiplied by 3. 138 times 3 equals 414. 414. Now, could just put all the numbers on one side and say this is, let me see, put them in order. We have 41x, x first, then y. If we subtract, minus 138y plus 5z equals, alright. We have 164 on the right, minus 414. We would have to add the 35 plus 35. So 41x minus 138y plus 5z is equal to, and then we calculate all of this out. We would have 164 minus 414 plus 35 equal negative 215. So we have negative 215 right here. Alright, so we just do a quick little review. Right? You're given the question. This is the formula for a surface, and you should find the linear approximation to the point. At the point, negative 4, 3. Same as the equation of the tangent plane. So here, remember that change in z equals the rate at which z changes with x times a change in x plus rate at which z changes with y times a change in y. So you differentiate to find the rate at which z changes with x. Alright? So you work that out and you use your product rule and your chain rule You have to remember how to do all of those things, you know, right? Same with y, rate at which z changes with y, right? And when you put in the values of x and y, x is -4, y is 3. For partial z by partial x, you get 41. 41 divided by 5, right? And when you do the same thing, partial z by partial y, so you differentiate this thing with respect to y, you get this value here, alright? After that, you substitute these values into the equation, the general equation for the linear approximation, or for the tangent plane, and you put them in. You'd have to substitute to find x naught, but the point gives you, you'd have to substitute to find z naught, but the point already gives you x naught and y naught. So you put them in, and you put your values here, alright? So just double checking everything. 3 times 16 plus 9 to the -½ plus 3 times y squared. Y is 3, which is 9 and 3 is 27. 3 over 5 plus 27. Okay, so there you have that. And then after that, now when you find your x naught, y naught, z naught, you put them in. You see that x naught is 7, z minus 7. Z naught is 7, z minus 7 equal 41 over 5, x minus x naught, which is minus -4, plus 138 over 5, y minus y naught, which is y minus 3, because y was 3, right? Y naught is 3. So you can just simplify everything now. Just multiply everything by 5, and this is what you get, alright? Then, if you should multiply out the brackets, just like this, 3 is 24, 3 3 is 9, 10, 11, 3, 1, 3, and 1, 4. Just double checking some things. So you have 5z on the left, make it remain. The x, by the way, hold on. What happened here? This has 41x on the right. So how does it remain 41x when I put it on the left? It should be negative 41x. Right? Should be negative 41x. I have to be trying to kill mosquitoes. They're plentiful. Alright, so it's negative 41x minus 138y plus 5z, which is already on the right, equal 164 minus 414 plus 35, alright, negative 41x minus 138 plus 5z equals that. And since you start with a negative, one thing you could do, especially the fact that you also have a negative on the right. I run out of scrolling space. One thing you could do, multiply everything by -1. You have positive 41x, so you have 41x plus 138y plus 138y minus 5z is equal to a positive 215. Positive 215. Alright? So, there you go. Alright, so see you in the next video.